All right, it's time for our Serenade of the Seas review, Royal Caribbean. Here is the big centrum area in the center of the ship. It's where they do all the parties and everything, and where you enter the ship. Then here's our stateroom. We had connecting ocean view staterooms on deck 3 that slept 3 people each. Although the berth, as you can see, is over the main bed area, which was a little awkward having my son on top of me when I was sleeping. It's a very awkward layout to the room. Not my favorite. The bathroom was very tiny, and the shower was even tinier, and ours had a special leak that every time we took a shower, it flooded the whole bathroom, and they had to give us extra towels to clean it up. Fuel is the teen lounge where my kids spent most of their time. It's pretty much open all day, every day, and they met some friends there, and they hung out all day, every day, which I was fine with. But this is us leaving Tampa. It's where our cruise went out of on Serenade of the Seas. And it was a July 4th cruise. It was a holiday cruise. So when I booked it about a year ago, I asked if they were going to have fireworks on July 4th. And they said, oh yeah, weather permitting, we'll be at CoCoCay. That's gluten-free pasta there from the Windjammer, which is their buffet. And then, of course, I love the sunset on the ocean. And it was very windy, obviously. And this is Key West, so this is our first stop on day 2 of the 5-night cruise. I'd never been to Key West, so of course you have to go and get the picture that everybody wants for Key West, which is of the southernmost point of the United States. So we went to go get that picture, and we just took a lift over to the picture, and you know how a lift can has a 5-minute stop? This is the southernmost house of the U.S. They have these conch tour trains and like the hop-on, hop-off trolley. They are really expensive. You can either do it through the ship or you can do it on your own, but it is not cheap. So that's the southernmost house right there. This is on the ground as you're waiting in line, which we waited in line in the heat and humidity for 45 minutes to get this picture that everybody wants. And that's Cuba out there somewhere. I don't know where. And so there's me in front of Cuba, waiting to get the picture. There's a plaque that's there, looking out at Cuba. And then there it is. There's the picture. You can see how hot it is. 45 minutes. Take you some water and a fan or something. This was on the street there. I just took pictures of the houses. They were just very pretty. And there was a bunch of little chickens and roosters, and there's a hen with her chicks. And then there's a naval air station right there at the southernmost point. They had this ball out there that looked like Epcot. It's probably a satellite system of some sort. And the rocks on the street, they painted them, made look like flowers. Herbie! This was the car on the street. I took a picture of this because that goes straight to the ocean, so no dumping. Goes straight to the ocean. This is the Lighthouse Keeper's Quarters Museum. And then the next picture is of the lighthouse. And then they have the Lighthouse Hotel right there. I thought this house was so cool. It was decorated for July 4th. Pretty awesome. This is a church that I thought was pretty. It's about a mile. There was Kara Higgins, a professional law association. It just had my name spelled correctly, so I stood in front of it. There's another rooster. And they had lots of courthouses right here on the street that goes from the port down to the southernmost point. End of the rainbow, because they're the end of the streets. You'll see that here in a second. These trees were everywhere. They sort of look like upside down trees. There's another courthouse. There it is, end of the road. Highway 1 of the U.S., mile marker 0. That is Key West. There's the post office in Key West. And there's another rooster. This was pretty cool. They have the Harry S. Truman Little White House in Old Key West, and you get to tour it. Now you have to pay if you want to go on a tour where they guide you through the actual house. But if you just want to see the free exhibits, you can do that. So that's what we did. It's also air conditioned, and they had a bathroom in there, so both bonuses. But this was pretty cool. Apparently he visited Key West quite a bit when he was president, so they called this the Little White House. And it was about 85 degrees in Key West that day, which you think would not be too bad, but the humidity is nuts, and there was no breeze. It was just really hot. Very, very hot. So you welcomed the air conditioning. There he is, a wax figure of Truman himself. This is part of the free exhibit area. They had an old TV playing different news stories about him, and then old newspapers that you could actually buy for $3.99 with news stories about Truman, things that happened during his presidency. They have pictures of him with lots of other people on the wall there. The most difficult job in the world. They had a bunch of quotes on the wall. And they had a bunch of memorabilia in the gift shop that had Truman quotes on it or other presidential quotes. He was famous for a lot of quotes. The buck stops here, that's one of them. They had the newspaper where it said Dewey beats Truman, but that wasn't the case. So it was pretty cool. I recommend it. Just a cool place that you can see some U.S. history and also cool off, literally. And there's a stained glass window of Truman. This is just a little fountain area on our way back to the ship that we saw. It's about a mile. Then there it is, Serenade of the Seas. And there's our first towel animals. I'm not sure what that was. Pig, maybe? I don't know. But there's the upper berth. See, it's like right over our bed, which was weird. And then there's the other room that was connecting to us, and it looks like a swan. Now, this is the next day when we got to CoCoCay. Actually, we had a day at sea and then CoCoCay. But the day at sea, we had dinner in the main dining room. We only did this twice. Day at sea, or that day, and then, when the day at sea. It was that day from Key West, and then the 4th of July. So that's my steak. And that's my french fries, because they were going to give me a baked potato, but then they couldn't because they said they put soy oil on the outside of the potato. Then there's my dessert, which is a fruit compote. There's the pineapple cake, because this was the taste of the Caribbean night in the main dining room. My daughter got that, and there's some strawberry ice cream. That salad you saw at the beginning with the avocado, this is a water feature in the main dining room. The avocado and the tomato, that's all I could have on the salad. That's why that's all that's on that plate. Sunset, there's my Timmy. They don't do well accommodating allergies on Royal Caribbean. I was very disappointed with that, because I had called a year in advance to book this cruise, and I told them my allergies at that point. They had plenty of time. I told them when I got on the ship 3 different times at 3 different places that I ate at what my allergies were, and they still had nothing to accommodate me. So they had gluten-free bread, but it wasn't egg-free. They had potato, but I couldn't have it because they had brushed it in soy oil. Or they had something else that was covered in soy, so I couldn't have it. So we went to eat at Specialty Dining. This is Giovanni's Table. It's their Italian restaurant. It's Jamie Oliver's restaurant. They sat us next to the window, which seems nice, but it was so hot that we were burning up. They had to close the blinds. This is the stuff for my bread that I never got to eat. That's the mural that's on the wall. And that's just kind of the decor of the restaurant. This was the beef carpaccio. I couldn't have anything else with it, but I at least could have it. And it was pretty good. This is the gluten-free bread, but it still has eggs in it. So my husband had it, but I couldn't eat it. This is my filet mignon and carrots, and they made me dairy-free potatoes, and they were not good. Then my husband got the seafood pasta. I got a non-dairy pasta, and then he got the Neapolitan ice cream for dessert, and they gave me blueberries. I asked them for something with dark chocolate, but it didn't happen. So I was disappointed in that restaurant, which you have to pay separately for. That was a thunderhead with the full moon. That was pretty cool. This is Perfect Day at CoCoCay. This was on July 4th, where we thought there was going to be fireworks. When I booked the cruise, they said weather permitting. That's Norwegian's island, Great Stirrup Key, and that's one of their ships tendered out there, because they don't have a dock yet at their island, but Royal Caribbean does. These are the dancers they have greeting you when you get on the island, and there's a map of the island. Now, it's pretty fun. I mean, it's not a bad private island. This was the kids' splash area. It looked like a pirate ship, and then that was so cool. They had that sand design done for us for Independence Day. And then there are just so many areas of this island, so many beach areas, there's a private pool. There's our ship next to Oasis of the Seas, who was there with us as well. It's a much bigger ship. There's the Up and Away helium balloon, which I'm going to show you pictures from later, because we did do that as an excursion. They have giant Connect 4, giant pool tables, like life-size pool tables on the beach. Those are the overwater cabanas with a slide into the ocean. Those are several $1,000s if you want one. And then this is beach chairs, and they have beach umbrellas and little tables on the ends of the rows. Then that's the ocean from our beach chair. This is Oasis Lagoon. It is the largest saltwater pool in the Bahamas, I think is how they do that. But we tried to go from the beach that we were at, Chill Island Beach, over to Oasis Lagoon, and there was no beach chair anywhere. So, of course, we went on the island a little later, around like 11 a.m. It was raining back over there. So the Up and Away balloon, we had to go back 3 times. We waited 30 minutes each time, and they kept shutting it down right before we got on because of the weather. So we finally got on it, but this is South Beach. There's like a tunnel of mangroves on your way there, or they're called buttonwood trees too, I guess. And there's a huge iguana that went over my daughter's foot, freaked her out. This is just little huts out in the water on the beach, and this is our Up and Away boarding pass, which we had. Then I went and ate lunch at the buffet on the island. They have lots of free dining on CoCoCay. And then we came back again to try and ride it. So this is the buffet area. It's called Skipper's. And now we're finally on the balloon. So there's, on the way up, I took some pictures. There's the water park, Thrill Water Park, which was $180 per person on the day we were there. So we did not do that water park. And there's the different parts of the island. Those are the slides at the water park. And this goes 450 feet in the air, weather permitting, this helium balloon, which is an aerofoil, just like the one in Disney Springs. So I've never done that one. I've always wanted to, but this is pretty cool. It made me want to do that one too. I really enjoyed it. But if you get motion sickness or anything like that, I don't recommend it, because it does move quite a bit on your way up and down, back and forth, more than the ship. Those are some more over-the-water cabanas that are part of the Cocoa Beach Club, which is a private area. You could pay $268 per person to go into, and they have their own infinity edge pool, private pool in that area, and their own restaurant as well. That's the Oasis Lagoon. That's the whole thing. It's massive. And there's another part of the ocean. It was really pretty up there. That was worth it. I'm glad we didn't get a refund. There's Norwegian's private island, and one of their ships was docked out there. There's the balloon. Up, up, and away. It was $64 a person is the cheapest I found it if you book it before the cruise. And then there were our towel animals. That one was like a turkey, maybe? We really couldn't tell. The other one was a ram, like a sheep. Then it was 4th of July, so we ate in the main dining room again that night. That was the only 2 times we did. So I couldn't have the buffalo chicken dip, but I was able to have guacamole. And they made me my own chips in olive oil, because apparently what they fry them in is vegetable oil. That was the buffalo chicken. And then I had a salmon and some rice. I wanted the brisket, then they did dark chocolate, and they told me peaches, but that was a pear. It was still better than just blueberries. Then they had a warm apple crisp with vanilla ice cream, and they had a strawberry shortcake, literally, for 4th of July, so there's that. And then instead of fireworks, they did a balloon drop, so there's the balloon drop for 4th of July. It was okay, but it was kind of a letdown. I was expecting fireworks, but they did not do it. And then last night on the ship, that was steak in the buffet. And that is it.